Well, hi everybody, Tom here, and this is your spongy moth update. These buggers they're around, but there's not many of them in most places. And apologies to those of you who are experiencing otherwise. It depends a lot on a number of things. First of all, and we may have discussed this on this channel here, growing degree days. That is briefly, that is a measure of cumulative average warmth on a daily basis. And long story short, it's been pretty cool. It was very dry and warm at the beginning of April. Then we had a bit of rain at the very end of April, and it was very dry but cooler for several weeks. And then recently we've had a couple of inches of rain. Sporadic, unpredictable. Climate change, right? Well, spongy moth and a lot of other things. In this case, dryness and heat are good for spongy moth because the entomophaga fungus that affects it can take it out, and we hope it will. Requires moisture to sporulate because it's a fungus. I think we're seeing some of that. I've had a couple of reports from friends who are seeing some dieback of caterpillars. You're looking for caterpillars that are drooped over. Look at our Facebook page. There's an article if you're really interested in reading scientific stuff. But there's a great photograph of a 90-degree drooped over early instar stage, early young caterpillar that has succumbed to entomophaga mimica. So anyway, many things are affected by all of these changes in temperature and in moisture content, especially. Last week we had a hard frost late in May, and I can't tell you how many phone calls I've had and messages that I've had about how crappy people's leaves look. Your plants are probably going to be fine, okay? Probably going to be fine, especially your trees. Frost zapped a bunch of early succulent leaves, completely unrelated to spongy moth caterpillar, but it made the phone ring, let me tell you. So back to the spongy. They are eating. You do see some holes. This is a black birch here in Sheffield. You can see some holes in these leaves. They look a bit like Swiss cheese, but there's not a lot of caterpillars around. I'm not seeing them hang from their threads. I'm not seeing them start to balloon. And this is just on this property. But generally speaking, they're still pretty small and relatively few. I'm very eager to hear about what you all are experiencing wherever you are. So comment, please, or send email. But we're all in this together, right? Generally speaking, we're into the third season of this particular outbreak here in this particular region. In 2021, we saw from Sharon, Connecticut, all the way up to Austerlitz, especially bad, into parts of West Stockbridge here in western Berkshire County, Massachusetts. And last year in 22, crept over, very bad, Sheffield, Great Barrington, Lenox, Pittsfield, Williamstown. This year, better. And in all of those areas, but not gone yet. Remember, spongy moth is around and has been since 1869. It's omnipresent, but at a small, tolerable, and sustainable level. And any insect or pathogen is potentially can have a population explosion and cause a lot of damage. Our goal is always to keep things at tolerable, sustainable levels. So don't freak out if you see a couple of spongy moths and you see a couple of holes in the leaves of your trees. What we don't want is defoliation 2-3 years in a row. That can be absolutely deadly. And there is no question in my mind, you look out into the forests now, after those first couple of years, and there are some dead trees out there. Most of them are oaks. Those are the favorites. And I know I'm reiterating a lot of stuff that has been said here in this series, and I appreciate those of you who have been watching. But if you're just tuning in, just catching up, take a look at your oaks, your birches, black and paper birch, river birch, your willows, apples, crab apples. Those are going to be the beech trees. Those are going to be those which are attacked first. They seem to like witch hazel and many others, depending on where you are and depending on how big those particular populations and how hungry those particular local populations of the spongy moth are. So, hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. Stay in touch with all of us. Let us know what you're seeing out there. And meanwhile, keep your trees free of stress. There's a lot more coming down the pike. Climate change is real. We're going to see drought. We're going to see temperature and moisture extremes. And we're going to see more insects. Spotted lanternfly is coming. Emerald ash borer is still running rampant. I could go on. Hemlock woolly adelgid, very bad this year. Very bad. Elongate hemlock scale as well. On a cheery ending note, it's a beautiful day, and the leaves are green. They might be a little holy, but they're green.